What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Cards and Comics here to talk about a little trade that I made. This past weekend was my local show at the Hartville Flea Market. I hit the show regularly, as often as I possibly can, which is usually just about every month. It's generally the same mix of vendors, but a few of them have different things. New vendors mix in. It's a pretty solid show. For a local show, really good show. I have pretty good luck there. May only make one or two deals, but sometimes that's all that matters. So this past show, I stumbled into a deal that I was not looking to make. A lot of people ask me, I go to a show, what are you looking for? Sometimes I have particular things in mind. The only time I ever went in with a clear-cut plan was the National. Just because it was the National and I didn't want to get overwhelmed, I had a very specific, this is what I am looking to do. My local shows, I usually don't do that. I just usually look for something to catch my eye. So I went in, stopped at the first table. His name's Jeff. He watches the channel. He's in the live stream chats every once in a while. He always has good stuff, and he's always rotating through inventory, so I was curious what he had. He had something that caught my eye. It was a Baker Select die-cut 2018 Zebra PSA 10 super short print. Pop 7, I believe. He was asking $1,500 on it. I was intrigued, but I really didn't want to spend cash, so I had him pull stuff out for a potential trade. I was kind of on the fence on it. I didn't know if I wanted to make the deal or not. And I said, you know what, let me walk around a little bit. And he had another card that was more expensive than that one. That also intrigued me, but it was something that I was never in a million years looking for. It was just like, huh. And that seems like a fair price for that. Interesting. Let me go do some research on that. The second card was a 2004 LeBron James Topps Chrome PSA 9 refractor that he was at $2,500 on. The last two comps was a semi-recent one at $2,200 and then a 3K one, but it was from a while ago. So that's where he was getting the 2,500 number at. So I walked around, thought about it. Talked to another friend of mine that I see at a lot of local shows, Liam. He goes to Card Collector 2 a lot. He used to set up sometimes, but he's in school right now. And I came to the decision that, one, I already have enough Baker. Last thing I need is more Baker. Two, I thought his price was fair on the Baker, given that there's no comps on it and how short printed that it was. But what he was looking to get off me, I just felt had very little downside risk, a little bit of downside risk, but not as much as the Baker had. This was prior to the Cardinals game. So I went back and I said, what about a deal, the same cards, but for the LeBron refractor? And he thought about it. We went back and forth. We weren't necessarily agreeing on a comp. Kept talking about it, and finally closed the deal. So I'll talk about what I gave up in a second. But this is the card. Anyone follows me on IG has already seen this. This is what I picked up. So second year LeBron refractor, PSA 9, absolutely gorgeous card. Second year, I get it. The whole second year stuff, back centering's off and front centering is off. That's why it caught the 9. Front centering nowhere near as bad as back centering is. The back is pretty far off, but they don't ding the backs quite as hard as opposed to the fronts, which makes sense. I get it. So you might be saying, well, second year LeBron card, like, what are we doing here? Second year LeBron is not like a second year Zion, first off. Two, it's a refractor and it's a PSA 9. PSA 10s go for quite a lot in this card. I don't know that I'll ever be able to afford a rookie refractor. Maybe one day I will. I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, this is what is in my price range. And a lot of it was also the stuff that he wanted off me, which I'll pull up. I took a picture. I'll pull it up on screen here in a second. Just the LeBron market's been flat all summer, other than the little rise that he got pre-national. His market has not moved much at all. So I felt like I wasn't paying a steep premium for this card. Obviously, winter prices on this last year were extremely high. This, for those that don't know, in a PSA 10 is pop 51, and in a PSA 9 is pop 146. Now, this year is non-numbered. You have to get into the black refractors for numbering, but this base refractor is not numbered, but obviously still extremely low pop. You're talking 200 total in a 9 and a 10. I think his Topps Chrome refractors will always hold a certain level of value to them just based off the fact that it's a LeBron refractor. So that's part of the reason why I made this deal. And we'll talk about, once again, kind of what I gave up here in a second. We'll get a little zoom here on the LeBron. And I'll pull up what I gave up. So back in the peak, like in February, and it gets kind of tricky comparing to these prices, but in February and March, this was a 5 to 6K card. Do I see it getting back to that point? I don't know. We'll see. It could. I don't know. Probably not for a while, but I am long-term on this. Let's talk about what I gave up. Let me pull that up on screen here real quick. So just hold on one second. And through the power of editing. So this is what I gave up. You could see a bunch of base stuff, really, and $250 in cash. So what we settled on was $22.50 was the value that we had it valued at. I did $2K in trade and $250 in cash. I am into this card for, let me double check. I think it's around $1,500. That's with cash and the whole 9 yards. $1,450. So this pile of stuff that I gave up, I was into for $1,450, including the cash. So last comp on this, like I said, is $2,200. So just to run through these real quick, we have 2 base Optic Luka PSA 10s, a base Chronicles Luka Revolution base PSA 10, Job base Revolution PSA 10, and one of my Baker booklets. I famously have 2 of these, so I didn't have a problem giving one of them up. The Lukas were doing about $425 a piece. The Optics, the Chronicles was like 2 something. The Revolution was around $350. The Jaw was around like $125. And then the booklet we valued at $500. And then I kicked in $2K in cash. Originally, the deal for the Baker Zebra was the 4 Lukas and the Jaw. And then I knew that Jeff had been eyeing up this booklet for a while. He almost picked it up at the show that I got it at. So instead of doing originally the deal for the LeBron, he wanted to do the 5 cards and $750 cash. I didn't want to put that much cash out for a card that I initially really didn't even want. So we bridged the gap with the Baker, and then I kicked in $250 cash. From my perspective, I have a ton of Luka already. I have the pile of Luka Optic Hollow 9s. I have a Luka Mosaic. I have a Luka Select Premier. I have some pretty decent Jaw stuff. I just picked up the Contenders Auto. I just picked up another card that we'll talk about in a different video. So I have plenty of Jaw stuff, and I obviously have plenty of Baker stuff. And Luka stuff, Jaw stuff, base market has been relatively flat. LeBron stuff's been relatively flat. I looked at this as moving out of ultra modern volatility, especially base stuff. What do we say all the time on the channel? They let you buy the cards back. Everything in this pile, and even the booklet, I was going to say with the exception of the booklet, very easy to buy these cards back. Luka Optic base, not necessarily a dime a dozen, but you could find one anytime that you want one. Revolutions, you could find one anytime that you want one. In fact, the Revolution would be the one card I would want to replace off this list. Like, that's the first one that I'm looking for. I am a sucker for these Luka Chronicles. I actually wouldn't mind replacing that card at some point in time, but I am perfectly fine to wait around on that. It's no hurry. These do not come up every day for a price that you might be able to acquire one at. Just to give you some context, over the last 90 days, 3 have sold. That's it. And no 10s have sold. So it's not like these come up all the time at affordable prices. This card could go down a little bit once the season starts. If LeBron struggles, gets hurt, whatever. Could it go down a little bit? Yes, absolutely. But it has the exact same risk of going down as this pile of stuff that I gave up for it. The difference is I feel extremely safe in this card long term versus that stuff long term. Anytime you can move out of base into something like this, to me, absolute no-brainer. Yeah, you're putting your eggs in all one basket. Yes, it's a non-rookie card. But it's a little bit different when it's a LeBron and it's a refractor. So to me, once again, no-brainer trade. Most people say I absolutely crushed this trade. What was he thinking? From his perspective, I get it. I'm guessing, not to put words into Jeff's mouth, but what he was thinking was this pile of stuff is going to be easier to move than the LeBron refractor is going to be. It's a lot easier for a dealer to move, especially at our local shows, to move $400 to $500 cards than $2,500 cards. And once again, this card could just as easily go down as once the season starts. This helps spread out his risks, gives him a little diversification. You know, I'm guessing that's what his thought process was on it. Maybe he was just throwing me a solid. I don't know. But I believe value-wise, it was a fairly fair deal. Philosophy-wise, in regards to how you want to run your collection and stuff, I could see what people could take different sides of it. So I'll be curious for your thoughts down below. Who won this deal? Obviously, I am feeling fantastic about it. And once again, this was a card that I walked into the show and I was not looking for it. This was not something that was on my radar at all. This was, simply put, something that I just kind of fell into. And then all of a sudden, the more I walked around and the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, if we'll take that same stuff and I could get the LeBron refractor, that kind of seems like a no-brainer if I could get a LeBron refractor out of this. And this has set me kind of down a dangerous rabbit hole. More on that later for potential future videos. But for now, the plan is to hold this. You know, I don't mind PCing LeBron. You know, this is one of those dual things where this can legitimately be a PC item and also a good long-term investment. So part of this was me moving more volatile ultra modern into a safer long-term hold. I know that I can hold this card if I wanted to for multiple years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever. It might go up, it might go down, but I feel very good about that card in a long-term horizon. I have plenty of stuff that I can move in and out of very quickly on. You know, I'm normally flipping ultra modern basketball. I don't have a lot of longer term hold stuff. So once again, you know, I talk about it with comic books. I diversified in the comic books to get some more long-term hold stuff. To me, this falls under that long-term hold category. If they go to the finals and this triples in value, would I move it? Maybe I would. Doubles in value? Maybe. Who knows? If this is a 5K card by June, maybe I would look to get out of it and remove into something different. If it just sits at around 2K, goes down to 1,500, goes up to 2,500, goes down to 2K, goes up to 3K, and it just kind of keeps doing that thing over the next 5 years, am I fine with that too? Yeah. I am not in a hurry to get back out of this card. So I have a little mini decent LeBron PC working, I guess. Nothing too crazy. I have the 03 Topps Chrome rookie in a PSA 8. I have the Chalk Toss base in a PSA 10. And a Chalk Toss PSA 9 paper, and now this guy in regards to older LeBron stuff. Classic photo, classic card, second year, you know, I'll take it all day. Do I think it gets back to 6K anytime soon? Probably not. Could it be 4K by the playoffs? Sure. Could it be 1K by the playoffs? Potentially, who knows? You know, you never know what the sports card market's going to do. For comparison's sake, if you go back to last December, and this is how I was kind of viewing this when I decided to pull the trigger on this card. Last December, before GOAT prices went crazy, because remember, that happened in January. This card was going for about 2K. December 7th, it was going for 1950, 1911, 2100, and then we move into January and it starts going up. But pre-Christmas, it was going for just under 2K. I'm into it at 2250, or I'm sorry, I'm actually into it for 1450. So I'm into it cheaper than what it was selling for last December. So it's not even like I paid anywhere near what peak prices were on it when it went nutty. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. Let me know your thoughts down below on the trade. Did I win this deal? Was it a wash? Which side would you rather have? Would you rather have the pile of cards and cash, or the LeBron? And I have a feeling Baker's recent market as of Sunday, because this trade was made on Saturday, may sway this a little bit, because I don't know if this is currently at $500 right now. Maybe in the local market you'd be able to get that, but every one of these cards I was at least positive on, except for the jaw. I actually lost money on this jaw. I bought it last Christmas right before the season started for like $250, I think, and it's currently at like $125. So I thought about just pulling it out and just throwing in an extra 100 in cash or whatever on the deal. But it is what it is. I just moved it. You eat the loss on it. You eat the loss on it. Everything else I was neutral or up on. The Luka Revolution, I was dead even on. The Baker booklet, I was up like $125 on. This Luka Chronicles, I was up maybe like $125. And the Luka bases is where I made up most of the money. The first one I bought in 2019 for $25. And the second one I bought in February 2020, I think, for like $100. And they were comping at like $425. So that did a majority of the legwork for me. And now I'm into a LeBron refractor instead of some base cards. So that's all I got for you guys and girls. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Peace.